So, okay, I think now you can hear, right? Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dharma practitioners, in these ongoing meditation sessions, we bring different kind of ideas about this meditation, and at the same time, we bring different kind of basic practice to make your understanding more wider and more deeper, because when you become more clear with this understanding, your practice become more sharp. So at the same time, you have to remember, it doesn't matter how much methods or the patterns or the sutras or the angles we bring. It's always very important yourself to have a intention and set up a goal with practice meditation. Because end of this all, your intention is going to become the most important part. So that's why, even though you look for teachings, at the same time, you have to look into your deeper intention and you have to make it more clear, brush up and sharp. When the intention becomes clear, your practice going to become more sharp. When the practice going to become more sharp, the path going to become more and more trustful. You gain the confidence. So when you have that confidence towards the path you practice, your experience become more and more wider. And that is where you can see from different angles. And that is where you become matured with practice. So this all start with deeper your intention. So every day you have to look into yourself and make it more and more and more clear. Even sometimes you don't understand much teachings. Even you don't have a proper teacher. Even you don't know the basic practice. If your intention become more sharp and clear and accurate, and your goal become more clear within yourself, then the teaching is going to come towards you. Otherwise, even the Buddha in front of you keep teaching. If you don't have the clear intention, it's not going to work. So when it comes to this practice, this all based with our mind. Our purpose is making our mind more and more clear. And at the same time, uplifting the strength of the mind with awareness. So when it comes to mind, mind always has a nature to make it kind of like a reasonable. Whatever you like or whatever you don't like. Always you have, the mind has a method to make it reasonable. And that is where you're developing your comfort zone. So another way, your box itself mean your reasons. So through practice, through learning, through listening, through the culture, traditions, believing systems. So out of this all, we build up certain kind of reasons. And that is where we become comfortable. So when we say go out of the box, mean, what does that mean? Go out of your own reason. But sometimes we like to know things, being settled down and becoming comfortable with our own reasons. But ultimate purpose of this all, bringing change to ourselves. So the change means what? Change means you break down this reasoning mind. You get out this reasoning mind. But another thing is, why we reasoning mind like this way? Why we reasoning all our experience like this? Because we all look for happiness. We all like to be happy. But at the same time, when it comes to life, you have to be very careful. Because happiness most of time can be very conventional. Even though it is reasonable, sometimes it may not going to become profitable. So make it profitable yourself. Make it profitable your actions, your bodily action, verbal and mental actions. Is one way that you cultivating your mind. And that is what called another way practicing. So then it is not easy, because sometimes profitable things not make you happy. And sometimes happy things may not going to make you profitable. So then to make it profitable, you have to be in the present moment. Being in the past or the being in the future may not going to become profitable to yourself. So that's why always when it comes to your moment of life, you can make anything profitable to yourself and to others when you in tune to the present moment. So meditation is a method, bringing this skill little by little to yourself. And in this path, at the same time, you have to remember, there are sometimes we make mistakes. So more than any other time, people practice meditation nowadays, and it is a very familiar words. And at the same time, a lot of people look happiness, satisfaction, There are many reasons people come to this practice. But if end of the day, if you don't know how you can make it profitable, and sometimes you become unhappy out of this. So there are few things you have to be very careful when it comes to practice meditation. There are two kinds of truth in the world. So one is conventional truth, conventional reality, and another way it called the relative truth and ultimate truth. So the relative truth means with your names, conditions, with the history, and whatever that you experience in the world related to relative truth. In time, space, matter, this all come to relative truth. Ultimate truth means even though we experience this all for a certain level, ultimately, depth of this all, we don't have anything kind of like a very permanent thing. So there are three things. One is impermanence, unsatisfactory nature, and selflessness. So those are go to ultimate truth. It doesn't matter the time, space, or the matter, these all three truths are equally applicable for any time, any place, anywhere. But the thing is, when we go into understand this, we make mistakes. So that's why you need to make your mind very clear to get into this. And you have to be very careful because otherwise, out of your spiritual practice, sometimes you make a lot of mistakes. So one of the important things you have to remember that you can't understand the relative truth bringing the ultimate truth mechanism. That means critical, analytical method or the understanding. Using that, you can't analyze this relative truth. That is one of the things. That's why, because when it comes to, just imagine very simple, like we all, this all belong to relative truth. So you and me, this everybody. And then when it comes to that whatever around this nature, around us, we have to accept it as something. Even though ultimately it is impermanent, it has an unsatisfactory nature, even though it is selfless. in conventional truth, we have to accept this. You can't reject this, anything that whatever around you, oh, is selfless, oh, it is impermanent. So this is one of the mistakes we all do. So that's why relative truth, you have to understand. With the relative method, not ultimate analytical critical understanding. So that another example, if I bring, like just imagine when you hear about a monk, and suddenly you think it's kind of like a very holy, spiritual, kind of like enlightened. You have kind of like an idea. It's not a kind of like related to this relative truth. It is not kind of like belong to this conventional world. So if the monk do something, oh, then you get mad. You get disappointed. Why? Because when you hear the monk, even though it belongs to this relative truth, we are like to see it through this ultimate analytical, critical analytical telescope or the lens. It's very hard. And that's why you need to be matured with this path. Because just if you hold by words and you just go with the surface level, you misunderstand everything. Because until you attain to the liberation or the Nibbana, you belong to this relative truth. So then just imagine, if you start to look the relative world through the ultimate truth lens, what will happen to you? Can you see something? You can't see. So then in between this, always remember relative truth, ultimate truth. In between this, there is something you have to cultivate while you're practicing this. That is what called love and compassion. It has ability to balance the path. Otherwise, if you hold it to the relative truth or the ultimate truth, without the love and the compassion, then things can go wrong. So when it comes to the love and compassion, so then we go into different line now. So when it comes to love and compassion, you have to remember this love doesn't mean that what you like. Because when it comes to very conventional level, in the relative truth, there are two powerful things create our journey. That is fear and love. It's kind of like a left and right, fear and love. The fear that you have is so strong, and the love you have also so strong, that you may do things because you love it, and you have to remember the fear that you carry has the same power. You can perform things to the same level like that, whatever you do with the love. And sometimes we don't look into it. So in the conventional level, with this emotion and in the relative truth, if you caught up with this love or fear, the both going to take you to the same place. It is amazing. Love can take you to the prison, fear can take you to the prison. Love can take you to the hell, fear can take you to the hell. Love can take you to the heaven, fear can take you to the heaven. So you have to be very careful about this. In conventional level, you can do good things because you love it, and you can do good things because you're afraid for it. You can hate things because you love it. You can hate because you're afraid for it. You can blame to people because you love that people. You can blame to that people because you're afraid for that people. You can kill things because you love it. You can kill because you're afraid for it. And people in the larger scale, when it comes to society, nations, they do things because they love their nations, and at the same time they can kill others because they're afraid for others. So it doesn't matter whatever you love or whatever you're afraid. And sometimes it can make you more disciplined when you love something, and when you're afraid for something, that also can make you disciplined. And the love in the conventional level bring these human civilizations to more and more success through this journey. And at the same time, unnecessary fear also became kind of like a protection to us. And it helped to all these civilizations to become more advanced. And sometimes if you look very carefully, you exist not because of love. You are here like this because of the fear. You can practice because you love something. As example, liberation, the nibbana, and you can practice meditation because you are afraid for the samsara, you are afraid for the suffering. How about that? Have you ever go into deeper and look why I practice this? So that's why through the entire history of this spiritual practice, most of time, people always nourish fear and the love. But when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, we don't go into this both path. We go into the wisdom path. So that's why this called royal path. So wisdom path means it doesn't matter you love something, it doesn't matter you're afraid something or you're fearful something. Always you have to remember, be wiser out of that environment. Develop your wisdom. Develop your wisdom. So that's why when it comes to the human world, why we become separate from the animal world? Only one reason. We are capable to gather information, make it to kind of like a knowledge, that information transform to knowledge, and then from there transform to wisdom. So then yourself, you have to look into that, whatever that the fear or the love have to take you to wisdom. Don't try to stop on the way. So that is where that you allow, when you go towards the wisdom, your fear when it go toward the wisdom, the love and compassion arise through the wisdom is totally different than this relative level of love or relative level of fear. So it need to come through cultivating. So the fear and the emotional love, this both based with our emotions, you don't need to practice that. Only thing is you once you become with things and it start to get empowered through your all these six faculties, through the perception. But this spiritual level of love and compassion not going to happen like that way. It need more space. You have to expand your capacity of your heart, your mind. That is why you need to think little bit more deeply. As example, emotional love you can have regarding your parents. Like you can have the fear regarding your parents and you can have the love regarding your parents. That's emotional based. But if you allow that emotional based, the things to be there like that way, by the time that love can take you to attachment, fear can take you to hatred. And the both going to end at the same place. But if you transform it to wisdom, by the time you recognize that it doesn't matter whatever they have done to you, you become more vulnerable, respectful, faithful towards your parents. So that's why when it comes to practice, always remember, getting to right path is very necessary. So somehow, balancing this relative truth and ultimate truth can develop through having the love and compassion. And another thing is, so one thing is when we talk about, one of the mistake we do when we talk about the relative truth, conventional truth or this conventional life, what we do, we use this ultimate truth or the critical analytical method to recognize this conventional world. Then things going to become more miserable. So another thing is, the second one, when we talk about the ultimate truth, we are not able to let go the relative truth. That we always hold it to this habit of relative truth and try to talk about ultimate truth. So because you have to remember, when you want to know about the impermanent, unsatisfactory nature, selflessness, hold it to relative truth. You can't. This is me, I am, this is my. So kind of like hold it to that. With that point of view, you can't get into that. So you have to kind of like have a bird eye view, or you have to withdraw from the self-centered point of view. And then because of that, what happens? We misunderstand all this ultimate truth and the relative truth. And another one is that whatever that relative truth or the ultimate truth, this both, we talk in the frame of relative truth. Ultimate truth, relative truth, we always talk in the frame of relative truth. We use our experience, our mind, words, other people's knowledge, and even the sutra, somebody memorized it, written down by the time, and now it is there. It is relative truth. Sutra are not ultimate truth. So whatever written in sutras, not ultimate truth. It is related to relative truth. But reading that sutra, inside that sutra, there is something talk about this ultimate truth. So then you have to remember it, the relative truth, ultimate truth, both in the frame of relative truth. So then you have to be so sharp and clear to separate this without attachment to even the relative point of view. So that's why when it comes to the world, there's impermanence. That even though this everything they are like this, that when we come to reasoning the world, you can't let go it. You can't reject it. You can't just forget it. It is impermanent. Then we no need to practice because this is all impermanent. Forget it. Do whatever you want. But it's not going to work like that. So that's why this relative truth, ultimate truth, is to blend together. And practicing meditation means by the time, rather than using words, you're trying to get into this ultimate truth, you deeply, by practicing through experience, you start to see. So it's sometimes the relative truth can be the foreground, ultimate truth become the background. For certain things, ultimate truth become the foreground, relative truth become the background. So when your mind become more sharp and clear, what will happen? You are capable to see this foreground and the background. And it is not all the time going to be the same, because sometimes things can change. You are in the relative truth and suddenly the ultimate truth can appear. But then suddenly disappear. See, sometimes, people live with us and suddenly you hear the message, oh, this person died. In that very moment, most of us cannot get it. Even we get it, most of the time we try to hold it to this relative truth, and we try to kind of like reason it. And that's why sometimes, when somebody die, even that person die, and you go and look at this body and say, oh, look at the face, oh, look smiling, oh, look at it, look like that he's so young, it look like he's so kind of like happy. Sometimes people, this person already gone, died. But sometimes we say, oh, look at his face, look at her face, oh, her face look like smiling. What is that? Because you can't absorb this person died, this person gone, disappeared, and you hold it to this conventional truth and try to reasoning this. And another thing is life is suffering, it's a morning to night, it doesn't matter whatever, from preschool to, an elder care house, this whole journey is full of suffering every day. And, but still, we try to bypass this all the relative informations to it, and we try to understand this suffering through this relative level of experience. That's why a lot of people get mad when it say life is suffering. So then always remember, don't use ultimate truth mechanism to understand relative truth. Don't use relative truth mechanism to understand ultimate truth. And always know both this ultimate truth and relative truth within the frame of relative truth that we have to talk. So that's why we need the meditation, or the method this we practice is a kind of like a bridge. Slowly cross, or you are capable to, without touching this anything, without mixing or without separating this, but still to understand how these both blend together. That's why it's a skill. That's why you need to practice. Otherwise, by just thinking, you can't get it. So then always remember yourself. Look into you. Look into you. And when situations come, when something happened to you, look that before it happened, how you thought about this and what kind of ideas you had about it. Evaluate yourself, your own experience. And that is where you become more humble within your own moment of experience, to know that what you know in this conventional world is conventional. That is the only thing you have to understand. That what you understand in this conventional world, regarding this conventional things, in the conventional frame is not spiritual. When the day you understand that, you slowly start to get the ultimate truth. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Supateva, oh may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment, with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens through the sensation, recognize it, do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Also, by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Yattavata cha ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Naya Dhammanudhamma Patipattiya Buddhang Pujemi Dhammang Pujemi Sanghang Pujemi Attaya Imaya Patipattiya Jati Jara Vyadi Maranam Ha Paribunjissami Idamme Punya Kammang Asavakkaya Vahang Hotu Sabba Dukkha Pamunchatu. Bless you.